Gentlemen, start your engines. It is race weekend in Indianapolis, and for the first time in their 6-year franchise history, the Indy 11 are playing a home match the night before the Indy 500. Two teams racing to the top of the tables in the USL. Gentlemen, start your engines. It is race weekend in Indianapolis, and for the first time in their 6-year franchise history, the Indy 11 are playing a home match the night before the Indy 500. Two teams racing to the top of the tables in the USL Championships Eastern Conference, Nashville SC and the Indy 11. Two players that have helped their team find the finish line all season long. Ioze for the Indy 11, part of the USL Championship Team of the Week, and in 2 wins against Nashville last year, he had assists on 3 3 of the 4 Indy 11 goals. Daniel Rios will come off the bench, we assume, tonight for Nashville SC. He's got 8 goals so far this season, second only to Kevon Frater of New Mexico United. Teams rated 2nd and 6th collectively in the Eastern Conference. Kickoff just moments away as you're watching Indy 11 soccer on ESPN Plus and MyIndy TV. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Community Health. Dream big, work hard, finish strong. Community Health Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. And by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. As the T-phone makes its way up the Brickyard Battalion, we welcome you back for Indy 11 Soccer here on MyIndy TV and ESPN Plus. Nashville SC already 3 points on the road earlier this week against the Birmingham Legion. That has given them a little bit of a higher spot in the table in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship. They now trail only the Tampa Bay Rowdies in terms of the standings in the Eastern Conference. The Indy 11 currently in 6th after North Carolina jumped them a night ago with a victory against the New York Red Bulls. Again, welcome into Lucas Oil Stadium alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. Thank you for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer. And going into the offseason, Brad, we thought these would be 2 of the best teams in the entire USL Championship. They haven't disappointed so far.
No, and I tell you, you take a look at the offseason acquisitions from both of these clubs. They got the best. They got the cream of the crop that was available.
The Indy 11, we thought about their offense most of the early part of the season and during the offseason as well. In the month of May, it's been all about defense. 421 minutes for the Indy 11 since they last allowed a goal.
Yeah, and the great part of it, it's been with different goalkeepers, different lineups, different ways that they've started the match. So it's philosophical. It's not 1 or 2 guys you're keying on.
Let's now flip to Nashville SC. We touched on Daniel Rios and talked about on the open, Brad, that we're not going to see him in the starting lineup tonight. We assume we'll see him as a reserve at some point 8 goals in his first year with Nashville SC.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's a great target player. He's good going to goal. He's good with his back to goal. You can really deliver Daniel Rios a ball from anywhere on the field. He can bring it down in a touch and be dangerous.
Time now for our starting lineups. They are presented by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana. We start with the home team in the Indy 11. And of note, Kim Do-yeon gets his first start in an Indy 11 uniform. The longtime pro from South Korea had appeared in 2 matches earlier this year, but gets his first start tonight.
It's going to be awesome to see the relationship that Martin had, the way that they know each other. It's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the team tonight.
And flipping things for Nashville, they brought in 2 players that had scored 20 or more goals last year in the USL Championship. Cameron Lancaster is out for a 3rd consecutive week due to injury, a 3rd consecutive match due to injury. Again, Rios and Belmar off the bench. Ropapa Mensah, the guy that has my attention because he scored here in Nashville's 2-1 loss to Indy a year ago.
Think about that, though. Think about having a 20-goal guy that may sit for the first 45, 60 minutes of this match and then come in on fresh legs, be able to run at the 11 for the last 30 minutes.
Our starting lineup's a service of Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. There you see the Racing Indy uniforms. We have seen Indy change their colors for a night before on Military Appreciation Night. They did it last year on July 4th, but again, given the fact they had always been on the road on this weekend until this year, they decided to switch up at least the top of the kits, and those things look glorious for head coach Martin.
They are pretty sweet looking.
The social media world was set ablaze when those debuted some 9 days ago, and we will show you that official debut at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway coming up at halftime. Tyler Gibson, Kenny Walker discussing strategy as Nashville stands over the ball. Neville Hackshaw, his hair is ready to go. There's little doubt about that. Our match referee is Rosendo Mendoza for this evening's contest. Tucker Hume along with Ropapa Mensah standing at midfield, and we are underway. Thank you for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on My Indy TV and ESPN+. These 2 teams played twice last season. The Indy 11's first home win in Lucas Oil Stadium came against Nashville SC April 14th of 2018. Offside flag was up. And Indy 11 got one of their 5 road wins last year in Nashville in a midweek game in late June. That saw the Indy 11 get a 2-0 victory on that night. Both these teams were playoff teams a season ago. I think there was an inadvertent poke to the face and then a foul given by Gibson to help slow the play down to allow the offended Indy 11 party to kind of regain his bearings. That was Dane Kelly, the player that was inadvertently poked by a Nashville player. Hume will settle, and now a foul is going to be given against Hackshaw in a very dangerous spot just outside of the 18. Good look on goal here in minute number 2 for Nashville.
Yeah, tough early opportunity here for the 11. Looked like Neville went straight up, but did draw contact on that and puts Nashville SC in a great scoring opportunity.
And that is one thing that we really have not seen much of this year. There have not been that many set-piece looks against Evan Newton in the Indy 11. We've seen the fair share of corners, you see that in every match, but not many looks from right here.
No, and it's you take a look at it too, and you look at Ouimet, Hackshaw, Barrett. These are physical guys too. You would expect a little bit more in the defensive third where you're seeing situations like this.
Good look at Evan Newton. 42 shutouts now in USL Championship play. That is the most in the history of this league.
That's an interesting setup there.
And up and over the bar, and I'm not sure that Nashville will try that setup again.
Well, I'd say the setup was great because as a goalkeeper, you don't know, who you're keying on, but you only flash one guy at the ball and then you blast it over the bar. Kind of a wasted opportunity.
Derek Jones, relatively new acquisition from the Philadelphia Union, took the shot. This is just his 5th start of the season. By the way, we are having some technical difficulties, so we'll keep you updated in terms of obvious score, but kind of minutes played as best we can here in minute number 3. Lucas Farias, the intended target of that pass, native of Brazil, gets his second start in as many Saturdays for the Indy 11. Brad, what did you see from him in his, again, really his team debut last weekend?
Yeah, a couple impressive opportunities. The first one was a ball that was switched to the top of the box, dummied at the top of the 18, came to Farias on the far side. And I think if his first touch would have put it in front of him, he could have had a shot on goal. And then the second opportunity was almost the same buildup, and he slotted it in back post in behind the back line for another dangerous scoring opportunity.
Iose trying to connect with Farias, and as per usual, the pass is precise, looking back post. Farias might want to have that one back. Enevoldsen was the intended target, but Gibson keeps the pressure alive for Indy. And Walker kind of lost track of the oncoming Nashville player. Enevoldsen will settle for the Indy 11. That was Hume that applied pressure for Nashville SC. 6 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses for Nashville coming into this match. And so the Indy 11 have 3 matches in hand on Nashville at the end of tonight.
That's, you know, if they pick up 3 points tonight, having that many games in their back pocket against a team of this quality, that's so important.
Of the teams that are in a playoff position right now in the Eastern Conference, only Ottawa is sitting on a similar number of matches as the Indy 11 with 9. In other words, after tonight, there are still 24 matches in the season left to go for the team normally known as the Boys in Blue, but a bit more black and white look for the Indy 11 this evening. Enevoldsen couldn't keep it at his feet. Mensah able to knock it free. Good step by Patty Barrett, wearing the captain's armband with Matt Watson available off the bench tonight. Iose,
clever.
Kim Do-yeon.
Tell you, it's little things like that that Iose brings to the game. He just opens his hips up to show that he's going to play it outside, draws the defender into that outside space, and then attacks it down the middle.
As We Met settles this ball for Indy, let's get to our keys. The match presented by your Central Indiana Honda Dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Let's start with Indy. What are some keys then tonight, Brad?
Well, for the 11, the first is to keep your shape. Nashville's a team that can hurt you and hurt you pretty quickly, so you got to make sure you don't get stretched too far and give them channels and lanes to attack. The other part is attention to detail in the attacking third. We saw last week the 11 controlled 70-75% of the match, but was even statistically. They were breaking down in that final touch, on that final pass, that final run. So attention to detail in the final third. For Nashville, they have to dictate the tempo of this game. They were playing down in Birmingham on Wednesday night. It was a 1-0 game. They were in it for the whole 90 minutes. They weren't able to rest their legs. So it's important that they get the ball, keep the ball, and dictate the tempo. And then this is going to be a transition game, too. I think both teams are very, very solid defensively. Both of them are explosive offensively. Whichever team in a situation like this can get a turnover and get out in transition is going to be victorious tonight, and that's a big key for Nashville.
The whistle was not blown because Walker is down on the turf. The whistle was blown when Iose lost the possession. And I think that would be considered inadvertent contact between Hume and Walker. Hume, of course, for Nashville. You can see Tucker Hume, one of 14 players back from a season ago, from their first as a professional side. Gary Smith is back as well, veteran coach, a former MLS Cup winning coach in his days with the Colorado Rapids. Not to mention a guy that has spent time coaching in the English Football League, Stevenage, in his background as well. And we saw Gary for a year with the Atlanta Silverbacks during the Indy 11's NASL days. Let's now focus on keys to this match again for Nashville. As you see Gary Smith, you talked about how they got to control tempo, knowing that legs can be an issue.
Right. That's a key thing. You know, you've got 2 away games in 4 days, and really across the country. So if they get into a back and forth running game, they're going to wear down a bit 70 minutes into this match and leave that last 20 minutes falling in favor of the 11. And then the transition game is the key here.
Both these teams will have Open Cup play on Wednesday night, as the Indy 11 will be at the Pittsburgh Riverhounds on Wednesday before they then host Pittsburgh on Saturday for their league match. Third round Open Cup play Tuesday and Wednesday, primarily Wednesday, as Kelly gives the foul, then immediately offers the hand up to Derek Jones. Very much a tactical foul there taken by Kelly. But of course it is then in the following round where the MLS teams come in, and that's where both these teams want to get to. They're playing another midweek match the second week of June.
You talked about a tactical foul here. This is one where you take the foul to avoid Nashville getting out in transition when maybe you're unbalanced a bit defensively.
You see Kelly, the all-time leading goal scorer in the USL, with 71 for this year to lead the Indy 11. That is in the top 15 currently in the Eastern Conference, or excuse me, in the entire USL Championship. He has not scored since the Indy 11 last lost. That would be against Red Bulls 2 back on Sunday, April 28th, some 27 days ago. Now in minute number 9. So scoreless here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Almost a giveaway by Farias. This is the first of 2 matches between these teams, and they will both be played in what are primarily known as NFL venues. Nashville SC plays the majority of their matches at First Tennessee Park, which is the baseball stadium, the home of the Nashville Sounds. They're going to play a couple of matches at Nissan Stadium, which is the home of the Tennessee Titans. And that will include the match against Indy on Saturday, July 27th. And as Colts fans know, teams from Indianapolis are used to winning in that building, so that's good news for the Indy 11. I'm glad you picked up on that. I was a little worried.
Well done. No,
thank you.
I'm with you. I hang on your every word, Rick. 90% of the time, too, I'm locked in on what you're saying.
I think you're giving yourself way too high of a percentage on that. As was the case, though, when the Colts won their last regular season game to clinch that playoff berth at the end of December. So far, other than the set piece, the chances, if not the chances, and the possession have been tilted in favor of the Indy 11. Long distance ball that was airmailed towards Dane Kelly. LaGrassa kind of stumbles over it, but eventually settles it for Nashville. And given the fact they were on the road 3 days ago, is this early sustained possession for the Indy 11 that big of a surprise to you?
No. And you take a look at the way that Nashville's playing too. They've got things very compact in the center of the field. You know, that way they don't have to make too big of shifts when they're passing players off and switching defensively. It allows them to save their legs a little bit.
Here in minute number 11. Keep you updated on time as best we can. This could be similar to how the Indy 11 had to play against the Charleston Battery here last Saturday night. Last 2 home matches, possession has been heavily favored, or heavily in the favor of the Indy 11. A 0-0 draw against North Carolina 3 weeks ago, and the 1-0 victory courtesy of Tyler Pasher. Tyler available for selection off the bench for Martin Rennie again this evening. This may be the longest stretch of possession in this match for Nashville. And the quick double by Walker takes it back away to find Nabil Hackshaw. Fan Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship in many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit SelectSportAmerica.com. All 4 goals by the Indy 11 last year in victories against Nashville were first half goals. Kim Do-yeon, after a lengthy career of playing in South Korea, wanted the opportunity to play in the States. Signed by the Indy 11 relatively late in the offseason. He had been away from the team for the better part of this month.
Great ball.
We'll finish that story in a moment. Mensah the target, leaves for Hume. And as has been the case so often this year, shots do not make their way to Evan Newton. As the block there by Carl Ouimet. This is Washington. Hackshaw able to get in the way and allow Barrett time to sweep it out of the 18 for Indy here in minute number 14. Met reinserted back in the lineup when Patty Barrett was an early exit from the draw against the Rowdies on May 1st. He hasn't left the lineup since.
Good opportunity developing.
Walker, Kim Do-yeon. Ball deflected. Kelly trying to settle. Now the flag goes up. Late decision, but the flag goes up.
That was similar to what was going on last week. You know, you have an opportunity. You've got some space. You've got numbers pretty good. Things are lined up for an attack, and then kind of slow it down. Take that extra touch, that extra possession, and then allow, you know, the back line to get set and the midfielders to track back and clog up some spaces. I'd love to see those opportunities attacked a little bit quicker for the 11.
You see Matt Pickens. Indy 11 fans used to seeing him in an opposing goal. Matt first played against the Indy 11 in their second ever match in April of 2014. And he and Kosuke Kimura of this Nashville SC squad are both player assistant coaches. That ball did cross the touchline. Throw in coming here for Nashville. But they were key pieces brought on by Gary Smith virtually from the start to kind of help set that culture as they were making the move to debuting in the USL and then eventually heading to Major League Soccer.
That culture piece is so important. If you don't have that, you know, everybody's got talent. Everybody's a, you know, a great athlete, a great player at this level. If you don't have culture, if you don't have chemistry, if you don't have guys that are bought in, you're going nowhere.
Good turn by Moloto.
Good ball.
Derek Jones. The flick forward for Hume. Hume settles. Newton up to the challenge.
What a ball. What a save. Such a clever to drop it into Hume from out there, and then for Hume to be able to gather it like that. And what a great read by Newton.
Ouimet got just enough to throw Hume off. Gave Newton time to close him out. And that's kind of been the way of the world for Newton this year. Not a barrage of opportunities, but having to be ready at just the right time.
Yeah, he didn't get to ease into any. I mean, his first touch, his first save is something pretty dramatic typically.
If it were a musical score, it would be staccato, a short burst.
Is that what that means? I have no idea.
Sure, close enough. The Sports the Match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. No whistle going either direction. Play on. Interception by Farias. Kelly, good read, just couldn't get there in time. Doyle and Tribbett providing the coverage along the back line for Nashville. And while we have focused on signings like Cameron Lancaster and Daniel Rios for Nashville SC, Tribbett was a player we were very impressed with last year for Penn FC. Long distance ball here. Enevoldsen couldn't settle. But Tribbett is every bit as important to Nashville as guys like Rios and Lancaster are. Iose the flick. Pressure by Gibson to keep the attack alive. It was Tribbett to knock that ball back towards midfield. It's the best of both worlds for this Nashville team. Again, they bring 14 players back from last year. You get a 20-goal scorer from North Carolina, 26-goal scorer from Louisville. One of the better defenders in the league in Tribbett from Penn FC, who's not playing this year.
Oh,
great
what a
read
turn.
by Kelly. Just couldn't settle the last touch. Was trying to spring Kim Do-yeon on the left wing. Take a quick look at the injury report brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. And that graphic has remained unchanged now for several weeks. Eugene Starikov out, Ilya Illich out. Those two have played really less than 5 matches combined on the year. Hackshaw there to make the play for Indy defensively.
So well defended. So well defended. You had Ouimet in the top of the box already engaged with the player. If Hackshaw isn't able to pick that ball, it's a 2-on-1 against Ouimet.
Other player who is out tonight for the Indy 11, not due to injury, but same scenario as a week ago. Alex Cronali, who is on a season-long loan from the Columbus Crew. He is back with Columbus as they've gone through some injuries. You talked with Martin Rennie this week. He said his expectation was that we would see Alex back here next week. Maybe not for the Open Cup match in Pittsburgh, but likely for the regular season match against the Riverhounds here next Saturday night, June 1st. Bit of a giveaway here. Gibson trying to make up for lost time. Tyler might feel a natural sense of rivalry in tonight's game because he is from Knoxville, Tennessee. Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive Indiana Members Credit Union Indy 11 debit card at any Indiana Members Credit Union branch or online at imcu.com today. This Indy 11 team, they have gotten at least a point in their last 12 home matches. 7 wins, 5 draws. That streak dates back to July 4th of last year. A 1-0 loss to Ottawa. Another good read by Barrett. Enevoldsen. Kim Do-yeon. Good closeout by Bourgeois for Nashville. Gibson makes a run. Doyle got ahead to it, but a corner, which means that Iose will make the trip across the pitch to set up the first corner for the Indy 11 tonight.
You talked about the way that Bourgeois closed down Kim on that ball. It looked like he was going to turn the corner, and the pace of Bourgeois prevented that from happening.
This was the source of so many Indy 11 goals last year. In Nashville, the opening tally was scored on an Iose corner that found the head of Carl Ouimet. Ouimet, Hackshaw, both likely targets here. All sent back in. Ouimet. This time Pickens had it covered. No deja vu just yet for the second-year Indy 11 man.
Such a tough ball to defend, too. When it's knocked across the box, everybody's attention shifts to the backside. And when you've got a player that can win it and knock it back into a scoring position, it's so dangerous because everybody then has to restructure themselves within a millisecond.
Ouimet looking for that first goal of this season. From the guys along the back line, Hackshaw does have 2. Hackshaw had the first goal of the season for the Indy 11. One of just their 2 losses on the year at St. Louis FC. A St. Louis team that still remains in front of the Indy 11 in the Eastern Conference table. Kim plays it across. First South Korean player in the 6-year franchise history in Indy. And Hackshaw can casually track this one down. And that'll be a foul on a bit of a jersey tug or grab by Jones. Jones, quite the talent, just 22 years of age, 6'4". Some long and rangy players on this Nashville side. Opportunity here for a 2v2. Flicked forward, Newton off of his line, and what appeared to be an opportunity, as has been the case so often in the last month for the Indy 11, closed down quickly.
It was a good opportunity by Nashville. You've got Patty Barrett pulled up a little bit, so he's out of position. When you win this ball and you're in a 2v2, probably when you look at the tape, you're going to say we could have done a little bit more with that ball. You like the thought of the outside, bent ball. Maybe you can, your other attacker can nick the ball and get in behind, but more could have been done on that one.
Fans, you can follow the Indy 11 and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+. Home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Opportunity here. Jones didn't see it until late. Taylor Washington making a pretty good run down the left side. Neither of these teams have minded the buildup being somewhat slow in tonight's game.
And I think that favors Nashville in this. With Indy with fresh legs, you'd love to see them push the pace on this a little bit, see if you can get Nashville stretched.
Side to the attack now switched up for Liam Doyle. And the offside flag was up for Ropapa Mensah. Mensah both a goal and an assist this year. Mensah just 21 years of age, the native of Ghana. This roster well constructed for Nashville. Good mix of veterans and young players, of course, on their way to Major League Soccer a year from now. Throw in coming here for Nashville SC. Last touch by Dane Kelly. Kelly.
Ooh, what a ball. What look.
Ina Voltson was the target.
For two guys that haven't played together, Kelly and Ina Voltson, as soon as they get the ball, they know where the other one is. They're looking for the space.
It took till minute number 84 for the Indy 11 to find the back of the net last week. They'd like to do so a little quicker this time around. Reference the fact that these teams have Open Cup play on Wednesday. The man that just knocked that ball some 70 yards down the field, a former Open Cup winner in his time with the Chicago Fire, and Matt Pickens, 36 years of age. He has split time this year in goal, but has played in both matches this week for Coach Gary Smith in Nashville. Indy 11 will make a goalkeeping change on Wednesday night because the law of the land dictates they have to. Last time they played in the Open Cup, Evan Newton picked up a red card. Jordan Farr was able to make his Indy 11 debut, and now he knows he'll be in action on Wednesday night when Indy plays at Pittsburgh. If you're Martin Rennie right now, Brad, anything you want to see change from a tactical standpoint?
Tactically, no. A sense of urgency, I'd like to see that elevated a bit.
Martin Rennie thought that should have been a throw-in for the Indy 11. See his top assistant Juan Guerra seated next to him. And that will be a hold whistled against Patty Barrett.
Yeah, he got away with one on Hume just a moment ago. Hume went and complained about it. You don't know if that puts Patty Barrett on the watch list or if the official saw the first one and said, okay, we'll give you that one. Next one that happens, we're going to have to whistle you.
Barrett, one of the 4 players from last year's FC Cincinnati roster, now playing for the Indy 11.
You know, the tough part about that too is you got to have the vision to see that Farias is making the recovery run. So even though that he turns you and he's going to be able to get in behind you, you've got your cover, you've got your support, you've got your help.
And another whistle outside of the 18.
I tell you what, for as long of legs as he's got quick feet.
So that is the 3rd whistle outside of the 18 that has gone the way of the visiting team. And the replay tends to validate the Indy 11 concerns on said whistle. It's been a steady flow of communication from Martin Rennie to the 4th official over the last few minutes.
Last few games. He's had a good running conversation. A dangerous situation here in a game like this that's kind of, you know, back and forth and pretty much a midfield possession game. These moments here where you've now given up 3 really dangerous restarts to Nashville, you know, are going to be the thing that decides the game.
And let's face it, this is a team that has not scored in the run of play now in their last 2 matches this week. Their only goal against Birmingham was on a well-deserved penalty that Rios connected in minute number 63. Penalty given up by a former star we know from around here, his days at IU, Femi Hollinger-Jansen, who gave that penalty. That was the only goal scored on Wednesday night. Doyle. I think it's the 2nd time from outside of the 18 that a dangerous opportunity was pretty much turned into nothing.
It frustrates you. It frustrates you as a coach. You look at this and it's, you know, you love the fact that the guy is going for it and he's willing to take the pressure and take the big shot. But you want to put it on a frame. Make the goalkeeper make a save.
Fans, you can join us every Saturday morning for Soccer Saturday on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. Had a chance to catch up, as we always do, with head coach Martin Rennie. Talk to our buddy Peter Wilt about the impending retirement of DeMarcus Beasley, the pride of Fort Wayne. Player that Brad and I had the chance to talk with 5 years ago, and it's amazing it's been 5 years ago after he played in his 4th and final World Cup. Walker plays it across.
Oh, what a ball.
Kim could not get there in time.
What a ball. It's driven through there. It's out of the keeper's reach. It's behind the back line. You're just hoping you got a player that can just dart through one of the gaps and get ahead to it.
Nguyen had played in 17 minutes in 2 matches so far this season. And both those were a few weeks ago. We have not seen him since April. Ina Volcek tried to find Kelly. Kelly had just started to break away towards the near post, and now the counter opportunity is on here. Indy racing defenders behind the ball. Maloto. Hackshaw. At least slows the progress. The double comes. None of the danger yet, but a moment to organize for Indy. Maloto with 3 defenders surrounding him. Hume looking to make the turn. Barrett having none of it.
Tell you, you rewatch that segment there. That is the textbook way to defend in transition. And the 11 turned the ball over. They were out of shape. They sprint back. They get numbers behind the ball. They press the ball, and they just clog up all the spaces for Nashville.
Player down behind the play. Kind of waiting for the play to stop. And now, once that happens, now we're at a stopping point here. You can go back and check on the injured player for Nashville.
Looks like there's a penalty flag on the field.
So Trainer being waved on for Nashville. I believe that is Mensah is the player that is down. We'll take a look here. Yeah, Ropapa Mensah and Patty Barrett with the collision. And this will kind of give both teams a chance to hydrate and get set for the final 10 to 15 minutes of half number one. Indy 11 scored 3 goals against Charlotte March 15th, 3 goals against both Bethlehem and Swope Park Rangers in mid-April. Goals have been hard to come by, but defensively, they've been up to the challenge since the goal-scoring fest that was April. They've not been that plentiful in May, but they found enough to get the job done.
Yeah, and that's the important part about building a complete roster, is that there's going to be times, you know, there's so much rhythm and so much timing and so much chemistry involved in attacking, whereas defending is a lot of decision-making and heart and effort and understanding of things. It's a little bit easier to be buttoned down defensively. But if you got a balanced roster, you can withstand these ebbs and flows in goal scoring and goal scoring droughts.
Fans, this portion of the match brought to us by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. This Nashville team played in the Wednesday night soccer match against Birmingham Legion. A chance to watch them on national television. Next chance you have to watch USL Championship action on Wednesday night soccer is 1 week from this Wednesday. It's at 9 o'clock when OKC Energy and our buddy Kyle Hyland travel to Albuquerque to face the debutants and current leaders of the Western Conference in New Mexico United. It's that week's best on Wednesday night soccer, June 5th at 9 o'clock on ESPN News. Onside is Kim, plays it across, didn't get everything on it, but ball inadvertently finds him while he's laying in the 18. Build-up was there, but again, not that final touch for the Indy 11. Hume making the run to the post, and again, Ouimet does just enough to throw him off.
He's an impressive target. I mean, he's finding a way. He's being held. He's being, you know, bodied up, and he's still finding a way to get that first touch to the ball. He's just a fraction of a step away from bringing that ball down into a place where he's going to be able to get a good look on goal.
Hume getting just his 5th start of the season. We mentioned the fact that Daniel Rios, first time he's not been in the starting lineup this year. That is also the case for Carlton Belmar, who is another quality acquisition by Nashville in the offseason. Spent last year with Swope Park Rangers. He too available off the bench for Gary Smith tonight.
And think about the advantage that provides Nashville, as they can grind out another, you know, 15, 20, 25 minutes here and keep this game scoreless, and then bring in 2 quality players that you're only asking them to go 30 minutes.
Farias can't get there in time, and again, it's very reminiscent of last week. Talked about this with Ian Svantessen for the Charleston Battery. He said, hey, if they can be level getting to minute 60, they could have an advantage. That's about when he came in. But again, the Indy 11 have been so good at limiting shots on goal as of late. He really never factored into a decision last week.
Yeah, and the other part about that too is when Pasher came in and just changed kind of the complexion of the game, it put the battery a bit more on their heels as opposed to how it lined up going into halftime.
We saw Tyler Pasher enter the game literally at the start of the second half last week. Could he absolutely reprise that role? Could we see him at sort of half number 2 tonight?
If you looked at that game last Saturday and you saw the way that he completely changed the game, there's no question that that has to be a conversation at halftime.
Great run by Ouimet.
I tell you, LaGrassa did a great job of closing that ball down right there because Dane Kelly was weak side running into space. If they deliver that long ball, Indy's into goal.
This is a 4th match against a potential playoff foe. Tampa Bay Rowdies top the table. North Carolina FC has moved up, given their win last night against Red Bulls 2. Charleston, always seemingly a playoff team from a week ago. Maybe we should not be surprised that against playoff, and I'm using the air quotes here, competition, 0-0, 0-0, 1-0. It's felt like playoff matches in May, has it not?
It has. It absolutely has. And you got quality teams, quality rosters, quality coaches, and they're taking these games with a level of intensity that's playoff worthy.
It'll continue next week with Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Maybe not off to as good of a start as they had a year ago, but you know the grind you are in for when you play his team. The run by Kim Do-yeon, just couldn't get the proper boot to it. And imagine that grind. You got to play him twice in 4 days.
Oh, and he's about as intense a guy as there is. I remember playing against him, and then you remember last year, after the game, he's standing out on the field. He is coaching his players
with his third goalkeeper
his
too.
Third goalkeeper was
out there very well.
He did. He was out there for 20-25 minutes talking to him.
Indy did not get a win against the Riverhounds last year, but scored 2 goals against them twice. Indy and Pittsburgh played 3 times last year, 2 draws, and then a Pittsburgh win late in the year. Iose knocks that ball backwards to prevent the counter opportunity for Nashville. And Mensah, shoulder to shoulder, no problem there, says our match referee. And that may be back to the last collision, where again, I think Mensah was nicked up, kind of took a bit of a shot to the ribs, but
that may also have something to do with Ouimet's weight room routine, because he's a tough guy to run into on a 50-50 ball.
Back 3 of the Indy 11, 3 pretty solid guys in terms of Barrett, Hackshaw, and Ouimet. '41st minute. Still scoreless in Indianapolis. The flick forward. Just a lot of congestion in front of the 18. And that was not a foul. That was a stoppage because of head-to-head contact. Hume and Ouimet. And again, you do not take chances in that scenario, so trainers for both sides waved on immediately.
You talked about the congestion. That's the tough thing that Indy has to address. You could address it in a couple different ways. I think Tyler Pasher addresses it. I think you can also address it verbally in the locker room at halftime, is that, hey, when we have those moments, when we have those gaps, we've got to go with a bit more urgency than slowing play down. I mean, Nashville's fine saying, look, you want to possess that ball 35, 45 yards out from goal and just knock it around. Great. Have at it. We can sit back and we can wait for that one chance that you're going to try and take and close up on that ball. So the 11 has to try and strike when you've got those channels and those lanes opened up.
We've referenced the subs available because of their scoring prowess for Nashville. The subs available for the Indy 11 this evening. Jordan Farr is the backup netminder. Josh Penn, Macaulay King, Mitch Osmond, Matt Watson, Tyler Pasher, and Nico Mattern. The 6 field players available for selection at half number 2. We saw Osmond make his Indy 11 debut at the very dying moments of last Saturday night's match. Watson has almost turned into kind of a regular sub at this point. And I think that was Martin Rennie's hope going into the season, knowing Matt's in his 14th professional season. felt, hey, if I can get him for 25, 30 minutes on a regular basis, that's what I'd like to do.
Well, I think when you're looking at a guy like Matt Watson, when you sign him, you're signing him as much for what he brings to the culture, to the locker room, to the training pitch, as what he can do on the field. The fact that he's got such a high soccer IQ, and you save him for moments like this, you can really put him in wherever you need it.
Our final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of the second half, or the first half rather, brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. I'm not sure if we're going to see that much in the way of stoppage time. Maybe a minute because of the issue with Mensa earlier. Opportunity here. Ina Voltson finds Kelly. Kelly flicked forward. Farias. Farias sizing up his options. Pickett's got a punch to it. Iose down behind the play. So a player currently prone behind Matt Pickens as the attack continues on. Shot taken, punched away by Pickens. Iose working his way back onside as we speak.
Okay, that was a brilliant serve by Farias, and Pickens read it perfectly. Oh my goodness.
And Mensa grabbing that ankle. No whistle being given in terms of a foul. They will stop it now for the injury.
I think he just caught it on the turf, and if he didn't, he was gone.
The turf unkind to Mensa. And this will add to that stoppage time we had talked about. Let's go back to the handiwork of Matt Pickens just a moment or two ago for Nashville.
What a read. What a read. That's right on the edge of your range, but he realizes he's got no defender goal side on Iose. He has to come for that ball.
Iose 4 goals a season ago. Has yet to score this year. Usually gathers much more in the goal creation business than the finishing business.
I want to touch on one more thing with that save with Pickens. You know, you get, as a goalkeeper, you get so locked in on the play that's developing. You're watching Farias. You're taking a look at, you know, where that ball is going to come in from, where the pressure is coming to that ball, and how he can serve it. But you've got to keep checking your rearview mirror. You got to keep checking your back post. You got to know where the runs are, because if he doesn't understand that Iose's coming in, he stays on his line, and that's a goal. That's a veteran save right there, and it won't show up in the books, Rakestraw.
Spoken like a true goalkeeper, Mr. Hodder. So Hume will knock that back to Evan Newton. We have not seen a signal from the fourth official in terms of amount of added time we will have before halftime. We are guessing maybe a minute, certainly no more than 2. Now we're being told it's going to be 4 minutes, so a little more than I thought it would be. Iose just couldn't time that run properly.
Will be added to the end of the first half.
Of course, the Indy 11 and Open Cup play a couple of weeks ago had 11 minutes added on to the first half. That was for an injured player for Lansing Ignite. That Open Cup win, the first for the Indy 11 in some 3 years. Kosuke Kimura with the throw in. He's played in Indianapolis before. Spent time with the Atlanta Silverbacks in the NASL days, but as a collegiate player, played here as well. He played at Western Illinois University back when they were conference foes with IUPUI, the former home of the Indy 11 at Carroll Stadium. Tonight's game also brought to us in part by our friends at the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Take your business to the next level in a state that works. And Newton is waiting because Neville Hackshaw, a bit gimpy off to his left. That's the reason for his delay in the restart.
Honestly, never thought Hackshaw feels pain.
Hackshaw spent the last 3 years with the Charleston Battery before being an off-season acquisition for the Indy 11. Just over halfway through added time at the end of the first half. What a volley.
Oh, my
Kelly's
goodness.
onside. Kelly, one touch. Quickly closed down by Nashville, but a throw-in coming here for Indy. That was an Iose level pass from Patty Barrett to find Dane Kelly. Still got at least a minute here if you're the Indy 11. Farias will launch that one towards the 6. Gibson. Would like to have that one back. Gibson does have a goal this year, that coming against Charlotte back on March 15th. If you're Martin Rennie, what's your message to your guys at halftime, Brad?
Pace, 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 push it, push it, push it. I think you've got to get this game kind of swung in your balance before they go to Belmar and Rios and put them in a position where they have to open up.
Iose have one more charge forward left in him before halftime. Hackshaw plays it across. Trivet. They didn't have an Indy 11 player close to him, and Neville will get whistled for the nudge of LaGrassa on the play. And that pretty much should do it for half number 1. Stay tuned. Coming up at halftime, a special look at some month of May activities involving the Indy 11. To mention a look around the USL Championship. First half highlights, stats, and more as we have officially hit halftime. Well, the score level, the balance of play very level as well. As the Indy 11 again trying to get the full 3 points against a team currently above them in the Eastern Conference table. 0-0 our score after 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think if you're Gary Smith, you're very, very happy. You've gotten here against a really good team. You're 0-0. You get your 2 weapons on the bench.
Halftime show comes your way in a matter of moments as you're watching Indy 11 soccer on MyIndy TV and ESPN+.
Got you. You got me good. Okay.
45 minutes in the books, 45 minutes to go at halftime. We'll tell you about half number one coming up in a matter of moments, but now we'll kind of look back at some big events in the Indy 11 family over the last 10 days. We start with 9 days ago as a good chunk of the Indy 11 roster had a chance to take in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was the debut of the Racing Indy jerseys that you're seeing tonight. In fact, jerseys represented as several Honda drivers that have made tomorrow's 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. And how about this, the ride of a lifetime for both head coach Martin Rennie as well as starting goalkeeper Evan Newton as they did laps at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway driven by Mario Andretti, celebrating the 50th anniversary of his win at the Indianapolis 500. Then the very next night, Indy 11 and Keystone gave back. Ursal and Isabella Ozdemir, co-chairs of the American Heart Association's 2019 Heart and Stroke Ball. The live auction even included a 2019 Honda Fit donated by Central Indiana Honda Dealers. Thanks to them for their partnership in this event and, of course, with all things Indy 11. Again, highlights of this match come your way in the next segment. Now a look back at the best of Week 11 in the USL Championship.
And now Phoenix coming out the other way. Junior Fleming's leading the charge. Numbers forward for Phoenix. John trying to go back for Flemings. Flack stays down, back across, solo!
We're underway right off the bat. Here's Justin Dillon moving up the middle. He's going to push that ball wide toward Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a first touch cross back inside for Dillon and a goal! Less than 10 seconds.
Poku slicing through. Quadro Poku scored! Tejada again.
Lomas kicks it to his right. Crosses it underneath Miller, and it's knocked away. Spangenberg deflects it, laying out and making the save.
It's a great save again.
It's acquired a backstage pass. Doyle recovers. Aduro 1-0.
Go to work to the byline, crossing in. It's a goal! Again, Jerome Kiesewetter.
It's Prater! What a hit!
It's electric. Into the box, a strike, and a goal. Dangerous player, perhaps in USL League One. Pepe curls! Ricardo Pepe, brilliance! Looking to get that right foot off for an incredible one-handed save by Kevin Silva. Developing situation, Jones. Jones on the move. Jones with a shot! Rips it off the right post. Another opportunity, and the strike is true. J.C. Banks now, letting it rip from deep. What a save by Hara. Team, Cablante, back of the net. 42nd minute.
Poland the second go, falls through. Saved by Fitzgerald. Oh, what a stop.
Now back inside Lucas Oil Stadium, you saw some of the best of both the USL Championship, the best of League One, two of the best teams in the USL Championship. No great goal-scoring moments yet to show you here from Lucas Oil this evening. 0-0 our score at halftime. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw, your thoughts about the opening 45 minutes of play?
I think that Indy needs to elevate the pace. I think this fit right where Nashville needs it to go. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of tactical changes come. You've got Penn and Pasher that can change the pace. You've got Rios and Belmar that can change the game.
We've seen some of the best of the USL's Eastern Conference over this month of May here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Who has your attention right now in the United Soccer League?
Oh, I'll tell you, Tampa Bay, for one, is Tejada, a pickup out of nowhere, who scored both goals, got a brace the other night. They're undefeated. They're pretty well balanced. They're a team that kind of shocked me.
Tampa Bay, again, the team that currently has yet to lose a match. They are 6-0-5 so far on the season. So now a look around the Eastern Conference in the USL. We'll have both scores and standings coming up for you here in just a matter of moments. Unfortunately, having an issue with that. We'll try to get that to you when we have the opportunity at some point in time in halftime. But again, Tampa Bay, for example, we talked to John Arlia on Soccer Saturday earlier today on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. He does a power ranking each and every week. Had the Indy 11 fourth. Only 3 teams above the Indy 11. One of those, Tampa Bay. They're obviously #1 right now with 23 points.
Who are the other 3?
New Mexico United was ahead of the Indy 11, and I want to say St. Louis FC might have been that team that was in front of them.
Okay, then
spot number 4.
My question is, what's the criteria? What is that power? Did he give you that information too?
No, I think that's like
a secret sauce.
Exactly. Can't exactly reveal that, but it kind of gives you an idea as to the high esteem the Indy 11 are being held in right now. They're also being held scoreless by Nashville. More comes your way in a matter of moments as you're watching Indy 11 soccer on My Indy TV. Teams yet to hop back on the pitch for half number 2. A look back at highlights, though, from half number 1. Again, I'd say the first 10 minutes kind of tilted in favor of the Indy 11. Other than that, it was very balanced, Brad.
It was. It was I think possession probably slanted more towards Indy, but it, for the most part, wasn't dangerous possession, and Nashville was fine allowing the 11 to possess that ball in the middle third. There were a couple dangerous opportunities for both teams. For Nashville, it came off of a lot of restarts. For the 11, it came off of play on the right flank.
Frankly, Nashville wasted a couple of set-piece looks just outside of the 18.
Very much so. If this game winds up a loss or a draw for them, and they look at those 3 early opportunities, they're gonna be scratching their heads and thinking they could have done a whole lot more with that.
We will talk to the Indy 11 head coach and Martin Rennie coming up in a couple of moments, but one of the things that I think he will have to focus on is how do you get more opportunities for guys like Dane Kelly and Thomasina Boltson.
But you have to watch film on Nashville to figure out exactly why this is happening, but they've given up 70% of their goals in the second half. Now, they've also scored more goals in the second half than they do in the first half. So, I expect a little bit more back and forth. I think Nashville probably has the comfort to come out of the shell a little bit more, knowing that this is now a 45-minute game and you've got 2 really, really dangerous subs at your disposal.
Possession. We referenced this in the first half, Brad, how the last 2 league matches, it's been really in favor of the Indy 11. It is again tonight, 62-38 in favor of Indy so far.
Yeah, and my some of these stats, while they're all very, very valuable and this analytic stuff is growing, there needs to also be kind of a filter you put it through, because is the possession dangerous? Is it leading to something, or is it just possession for the sake of possession?
Well, to that point, shots on target for the Indy 11, 2. Shots on target for Nashville, 1. Possession hasn't really led to nervous moments in front of goal yet for either side. So again, the team about ready to make its way back onto the pitch here for the Indy 11, and Martin Rennie has made his way to our pitch side interview location. Let's talk to him now. Coach, what was your message to your guys at halftime?
Well, it's quite a tight game at the moment. I think both teams have been pretty good on the ball, not giving up too many chances. I think for us, we've got to just increase the tempo of our play a little bit. When we get around the goal, we're still maybe looking to get behind, which isn't possible because they're so deep. So we need to set the ball up and have shots from the edge of the box, take people on. We've got a couple of changes we might make in the second half, which gives us that ability to beat people 1v1. So that could be a key factor in the second half.
You read my mind. Tyler Pasher played that role for you last week. You expect him to do something similar for you coming up later this half?
Yeah, let's hope so. I mean, he was dangerous last game. He scored the winning goal, so hopefully he could do the same for us again.
Coach, thank you. We'll talk to you after the match.
Okay, thank you.
Indy 11 head coach Martin Rennie, as always, kind enough to join us going into the second half of action. We talked about these to start half number 1. Let's revisit them now. Our keys to the match presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers. How have the Indy 11 done in keeping their shape?
They've done a good job. They've really only given up dangerous opportunities off the restart, so the shape has been fine. The attention to detail in the final third, that still needs attention. They've just got to connect on that final pass. As far as Nashville, they've dotted the I's and crossed the T's. They have held the tempo. And then they've got to win the transition game. This is a time that they've gotten out on a break a couple of different times, and either, whether it's a foul or a missed touch, they've just missed being dangerous in those opportunities.
I asked Martin Rennie what his message to his guys was at the break. What about for Gary Smith of Nashville?
Well, I think it's a completely different game for Gary right now. I think when he looked at coming in and saying, I got to battle one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference for 90 minutes and try to pull points, after just playing in Birmingham on Wednesday, that's a tall order. Now you get it, and you get it to be a more bite-sized morsel. You got 45 minutes. It's a 45-minute match, and you've got 2 really dangerous pieces that you did not have to use. I think you can open up the tempo a little bit now if you're Nashville as well.
A quick check of our out-of-town scoreboard brought to us by Crown Plaza Indianapolis downtown. Let them assist you with your next meeting or event. Again, the big result was North Carolina winning last night against Red Bulls 2. Ottawa, and again, they're a team that is level in terms of matches played with the Indy 11. So that's an important result as they lead at Hartford Athletic by a goal at halftime.
Yeah, it's good to see Ottawa back in the mix. I think that's one of those franchises that you cheer for, and we've got a long history with them, so it's one that you always kind of keep an eye on. A little bit of a down year for them last year, but good to see them back in the conversation.
No changes for either side to start half number 2. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder with you here on MyIndy TV and ESPN+. Now we've talked about some dangerous options off the bench for Gary Smith in Nashville. Second leading goal scorer in the league in Daniel Rios. Available for selection off the bench for Nashville, Carlton Belmar as well. Kim Do-yeon in his first Indy 11 start sends that ball in. Pickens pretty much had it lined up. Defender didn't know that and just swept it to the side.
Well, I think sometimes on those, even when the goalkeeper calls it, you've got your concerns as a defender, whether you hear it late, whether you hear it clearly, whether you see a guy in your peripheral vision. There are times that, hey, even though the keeper's got he's called it, he's got the better look, I just don't feel right about it. I'm going to clear it.
Well, we just showed you Kim Do-yeon on screen. Again, this is the first chance we have had a chance to call one of his matches. Early impressions on him?
I think he's been pretty clever. He's got some dynamic touches. In fact, I thought he's been able to turn a corner if it wasn't for Bourgeois closing him down. But I thought he's created some interesting opportunities and problems that Nashville's had to solve.
Good job by Walker to get a body on Ropapa Mensah before he could track that ball down. The little things are being done very well by the Indy 11. It's that big moment in the final third where maybe they've not been as crisp as they would have liked to tonight. What a week this would be for Nashville. They could get not just a point, but 3 here tonight.
Goodness, yeah.
Back-to-back road wins in 4 days. Pair of bus trips to Birmingham and Indianapolis. Kelly the target. And Tribbett is a very long shadow on Kelly tonight. Well done by Farias. Corresponding run by Ioze. Plays it across with the right foot, and Doyle gives the corner.
Good build. Good build. Clever build.
Interesting, they're going to have Kim take the corner and not Ioze this time. Take a look at how this corner was earned by the Spaniard, member of the championship team of the week. Tyler Pasher was on the bench for the team of the week after his game-winning goal 7 days ago. Kim descended in. Back post. Hume got there first for Nashville, and Enevoldsen couldn't keep Jones from it, but Farias will track it down for Indy. Unlucky bounce for the Indy 11, and Ioze the worse for it as Kumura ricocheted that ball straight off the face of Ioze. Certainly was not intentional. Ioze missed the first 2 matches this year for the Indy 11. Has played in every one since, and it's going to take a minute to make sure he's all right. Both the trainer and the team doctor come out and check on the second-year member of the Indy 11. Well, we have this opportunity. Want to send a hearty congratulations to a guy that we saw here for 2 years in 2016 and 2017. Sinisa Ubiparapovic. He retired after the 2017 season with the Indy 11. Yesterday, he was named as the men's soccer coach at Cleveland State University. Congratulations, Ubi. He was an assistant coach there last year.
That was awesome because he's got he's got family ties to that region. That's where he grew up, and then I believe he played at Akron as well. So his whole start of his soccer career was in and around Northeast Ohio. So for him to be able to go back there and now continue his work in developing younger players now, great opportunity for him.
Up until last October, he had the only playoff goal in Indy 11 history. Suni Saad joined him on that list in last year's loss at Louisville. And it's probably past time for us to mention the 2 goals that Suni Saad had against Nashville last year. He had the brace in the win here in April, and the second goal was the stuff that defied the laws of physics. Good move by Mensah. Hackshaw and Ouimet recover quickly.
Well, we talk about, Matt Pickens tonight being a veteran goalkeeper, and this ball off of Suni Saad's foot crossed up a guy who has seen probably a couple thousand shots from that spot in his career and hadn't seen a ball move that way before.
You can tell that Ioze has been waved back on in this portion of the match, brought to us by the Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. Where is a goal-scoring opportunity likely to come from for the Indy 11?
When you look at what you just saw there on that ball from Patty Barrett up to Enevoldsen.
There's the header, but not on frame.
And that there is a gap of space between Nashville's back line and their midfield. And if you've got a forward like Enevoldsen checking back to the ball, you can drop a ball in there for him, and then he has the option to either play make with Kelly, hold that up, interplay with the midfield, or look to turn.
Would have been a first goal for Farias in his limited time with the Indy 11. Native of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Kelly's got 4. Hackshaw and Enevoldsen have 2, as does Tyler Pasher for the Indy 11 this season. 6 different goal scorers on the year for Indy. King and Gibson each have one from the victory against Charlotte back in March, and Enevoldsen draws a foul. Martin Rennie, I think, not happy about the whistle, about potentially the advantage being played, perhaps.
Well, I think the advantage won, and if you're going to kill the advantage in that position, perhaps a card is worthy in that. So, you know, here you've got two options on the table that favor Indy 11. Hey, play it out. Let's see if Enevoldsen can make something happen from it. And if that's not going to be the case, then throw the card. So you got two positive options, and you get neither one of them.
Sports the Match, presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong.
However, you like Iose's left foot in this position and where this ball is lined up. You got your guys at the top of the 18. He can drop that ball in and around the 12 to 6 for guys to run onto. And you look at Pickens. Pickens knows Iose. He's positioning his guys. And he's not going to be standing on his line. He's going to be in a position where if he sees the opportunity to come out and grab a ball, knock it away, he's going to do that because he knows how dangerous this serve can be.
As for a card, you get one. Eventually, Bourgeois gets shown the yellow.
Oh.
Bourgeois.
It's still a good position. But I think Nashville was able to buy about 6 yards on it.
So first yellow of tonight's match has been shown. See, Farias has a good amount of space.
Look at Pickens at the 6.
Iose waits on a whistle.
It's a chess match going on right now.
Iose sends it in. Head got to it, but it was Patty Barrett.
Yeah, and that's less of a shot opportunity than it is just a misdirection. See if you can spin something back post that a run can crash onto. I think here in about 5 minutes, one of these teams is going to throw a wild card on the table.
What's interesting is that neither team really has guys warming up just yet. And again, I think also at some point, a point is a good result for Nashville, given the fact they've already got 3 from Wednesday night, and knowing that Indy returns the favor at their place on July 27th.
And in fairness, I hate to say, you know, a draw is going to be a good result. But for the 11 with 3 games in hand on Nashville, to pull a point here tonight isn't a bad result either.
Fans, you get updates and alerts all year long by following your club at ESPN.com. Search for Indy 11, then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on the 11's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for more on your club. Kim Do-Yeon the target. Again, just enough contact to slow the run. By the way, the reserve players from Nashville now heading towards their corner to begin warming up in case called upon.
Good to see a crowd from Nashville that made the journey up here.
I know Indy was very well represented at First Tennessee Park last year. And I guarantee you there will be a sizable contingent at Nissan Stadium coming up in 2 months when these teams will see each other yet again. Jose couldn't track that one down. Kimura knocks it free. Possession has been limited so far this half for Nashville. Maloto sends it in. Now Jones. The leave, the shot, but Newton barely had to move a muscle. That time it's from the run of play. Again, that's 3 balls from the top of the 18 in a dangerous position. that Newton didn't have to lift a finger on. Indy 11 approaching 500 minutes since they last allowed a goal. Second half, April 28th. It's Red Bulls 2. By the way, Tom Barlow is currently tied for Daniel Rios for second in the league in terms of goal score with 8. He scored that day for Red Bulls 2. He scored for Red Bulls Uno last week. Getting a look with the big club. I'm not sure he's going to be adding to that 8-goal total with Red Bulls 2 in the near future. Similar chance, opposite side of the field a few moments ago for Iose. Looking back post, and that cleared everybody.
I kind of like the 2v1 with Farias and Iose.
Fans has forced the match, brought to us by Delta Faucet. Delta Faucet, see what Delta can do. Has played against the Indy 11 in 5 of the last 6 seasons. Spent 4 years with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. His second year with Nashville. And that'll be a foul against Iose. Carving out some space against Tucker Hume. Indy 11 reserve starting to limber as well. Usually that 60th minute, kind of that sweet spot for saying, okay, time to change things up. And Tyler Pasher will be the first to have his number called, not surprisingly. Good read by Iose. Now can he create some separation? Because Jones only has him by about 7 inches on the stride.
I tell you what, great recovery by Jones. Just enough to, to put a thought in his head and allow Nashville to kind of regroup a bit defensively.
Farias puts that ball just behind Walker, which slows up the play ever so slightly. Barrett would like to have that one back underneath that one and behind him. Barrett looking for his first Indy 11 goal.
Yeah, that's a tough place to try and beat Pickens from.
Pasher still getting some last-minute instructions from Juan Guerra. He has not made his way to the 4th official just yet.
I think you saw the difference that Pasher made right at halftime last time was his ability to mix up the early serve and take a guy off the dribble. And then he had so many opportunities where he was taking guys off the dribble and attacking the post. He was a little bit gassed and started settling for the early serve until he came up with the goal. I think now with 30 minutes to go, he's got all of his weapons at his disposal.
Kim to leave for Gibson. Counter opportunity here for Nashville. 3 at the back line for Indy. Hackshaw couldn't get to it. Opens up some space. Mensah, 2 options to his left, looking back post. Hume couldn't get to it.
What a ball by Mensah. Bent just behind Patty Barrett. Tough gamble. Tough gamble. Hackshaw usually doesn't lose those.
Fans for standing stats on the latest league news. Be sure to visit USLChampionship.com. Foul called against Dane Kelly. What has Nashville done so well to defend Dane Kelly tonight?
Well, they've dropped their back line. I mean, the space over the top when the 11 are looking to drop that ball into pockets for Dane Kelly hasn't been there. And then Tribbett's done a fantastic job of just making sure there's a body on him, slowing his pace, not allowing him to get out into space.
Jones plays it in. Steered away by Ouimet. Pasher has now made his way to the fourth official. Nothing has come easily for either of these teams tonight. And that was touched last by Nashville. Throw in for Iose. Tribbett ruled to have deflected that ball out of bounds.
And that might be a situation right there. You know, you've got Tribbett out, who's done a fantastic job on Kelly. Take the early throw. See if you can get Kelly in with them without their center back.
Kim Do-Yeon will exit. His first match at home in an Indy 11 uniform. And now speed on top of speed in terms of Tyler Pasher. And against a similarly difficult team to break down a week ago, it was Pasher's continued runs on the left side that eventually led to an opportunity for the Indy 11. Pasher couldn't really go after that one. He had just gotten back on side. Enevoldsen looking for Kelly. Kelly. That should be a corner. Yep. Inadvertently deflected away, not from the player, but across the byline by Liam Doyle.
Yeah, one thing you've seen here in the last, really, you saw it at the end of the first half, and now you're seeing it through the second half. Enevoldsen is dropping deep into the midfield to get that ball, to get more touches, which is something that's good because he's effective and creative with those touches. And then, boom, as soon as he comes back to get that ball, he's able to find Kelly's feet, and then a little combination off his feet leads to this corner.
Ouimet and Hackshaw, the tallest targets. Walker's going to try to create a little traffic in front of Matt Pickens. First, a conversation about a little extracurricular activity taking place between the 6 and the 18. Barrett got there first. Pickens makes the play.
Good read.
Hackshaw will shepherd that ball across the sideline for a throw in. The sports this match presented by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Nervous moment there that Newton casually knocks towards the middle of the park. And that is Carlton Belmar that is about to enter this match for Nashville SC. Belmar plays about as close of a role to, say, an Iose as I've seen from their team in the league in terms of a guy that's listed as a defender, but it's much more about attacking from the wing and setting everybody up in front of him. So Belmar best listed as a shot creator. Listed as a forward, but he has played a defensive role. Opportunity here. Kelly trying to play that turf bounce. Couldn't find Pasher. Asked for a foul, wouldn't get it. Iose leaves it for Pasher. Pasher on the cross. Asked for a handball, won't get it. Ruling was the arm was tucked into the chest. No whistle.
Tell you, that was all set up by a brilliant little clever ball by Tyler Gibson over the top.
Flick forward. Kelly's offside. Kelly was offside. A lot of the volunteer officials in the Brickyard Battalion thought that was a handball. Let's take a look ourselves. It's tough.
That is a tough one because that ball comes across the middle.
And I wouldn't say his arm was extended.
No.
but it was also
tucked. It wasn't tucked.
Correct. Nashville again had what I thought was a no doubt penalty in their favor on Wednesday night.
Absolutely. It was a great run by. Was that Doyle? Who made that run?
I think it was Wynn, I believe.
Wynn, yep.
Was also available as a sub tonight if need be. These two teams are both tremendous at disrupting the rhythm of the other side. Just a little shoulder here, a little nudge there. It looks like a give and go opportunity. Those things get closed down quickly. Mensah. Nashville will play on Wednesday next week in the Open Cup. They are then off next weekend, and they have played, counting the Open Cup, each of the last 3 Wednesdays. So they are, you understand why they're rotating through their roster a bit tonight. Kelly and Enevold's not on the same page that time.
There are moments like that in transition. I think Farias won that ball in the back that you'd like to see, maybe instead of that direct ball always looking over the top, to mix it up a little bit, maybe take some of that space off the dribble, see if you can shift a defender or somebody to you to open up a channel a little bit bigger.
A bit of a chain reaction foul that time was called. Take a look. Farias whistled for the contact first. It was Barrett, the player, that ended up on the turf. By the way, Belmar has entered.
Substitution, Nashville SV.
As Hume will exit. Belmar a goal and an assist this season. He is a native of Virginia Beach, Virginia, as is Indy 11 goalkeeper Evan Newton. Evan just a few years older than Carlton. Both teams now with 2 substitutions remaining. Bourgeois. Newton with little traffic in front, able to make the easy play. Last week a goal in the 84th minute. Kelly whistled for the foul on the swim move against Washington. Could it be similar late game magic for the Indy 11 tonight? This is the only team that Nashville has played in their brief existence in which they have not at least earned a point against them at some juncture. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth to compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. That was kind of the first somewhat obvious attempt at some time wasting by the visitors tonight. Pasher, unfamiliarity on the right side for Pasher. Oh, see what I mean? He didn't know where the end line was.
And you can see Nashville had watched the game against the Battery because Pasher got the ball, even though he was out of position on the right side, not a comfortable spot for him. They had 3 guys jamming that space. They were not going to allow him to just get out and run.
The Sports Tonight's match presented by Ivy Tech. Careers start here. Apply for free at ivytech.edu. And a second substitution is being prepared for Nashville. And a giveaway immediately. Patty Barrett puts his hand up and says, my bad. For the pass, it was a bit off, and it looks like Daniel Rios is going to be asked for about 20 minutes worth of action for Nashville tonight. Run here by Belmar. And again, with he in the game, Nashville's a lot more potent playing that wing.
And there's so much you can do on film, but there's something to be said too for sitting for 70 minutes and watching how the game unfolds, the feel, the flavor of it, how each defender's playing, where the opportunities are coming from, where the touches are coming from. So even though he's got 20 minutes on the field, he's still got 70 minutes in his brain of what's going on the field here.
Mensah offside.
It's a clever ball, though. What a clever ball.
Kimura, the veteran, at 34.
He waited. He waited until Nebio was, caught up between two steps, and then just tucked it in behind him.
Nebio did a good job kind of stopping his movement too, just to make sure he was offside by that yard. Barrett gives it a go, but it didn't have the traffic in front to really give Pickens a spot of bother on that one. And we're seeing the Indy 11s are to settle for some long distance looks here.
Yeah, not a fan. Well, it depends. I mean, if it's the right opportunity. But I think in some situations you settle for it because there's no pressure on you.
Hackshaw and Mensah got tied up. The foul whistled against Ropapa Mensah.
Oh.
Now Pasher with the speed on full display. Bourgeois matched him step for step. Does this get the lucky bounce? It's a throw-in, not a corner. But again, that's probably what it's going to take for Indy tonight.
And you could see what Tyler Pasher brings to that game. You got a veteran center back like Tribbett, who is trying to decide, is there enough space and time and speed in me to get to that ball and press it, or do I drop into the middle for cover? He made 2 steps to the ball, 2 steps back to the middle, 2 steps to the ball, 2 steps back to the middle. That's the kind of confusion that speed can create for you.
Minute number 75. Great flick by Iose. Makes the supporting run, but Pasher can't get into it. And Moloto told to get up. Clean play by Walker. Just no space to operate for either Ina Bolton or Kelly. Credit Nashville. Schematically, their defense has been outstanding tonight.
Yeah, I think it has, but I think Indy's also played into it. When they have given gaps, when they have given opportunities, the 11 have chosen to possess instead of to strike.
Belmar. Ouimet takes no chances and sends that ball sideways. And Rios now a letter. So Ropapa Mensah's night is done. And the second leading goal scorer in the league. Since he set foot in the league last year, he has scored 28 times as Rios. That is equal to his teammate in Cameron Lancaster, who has 2 goals this year and 26 last year. So both Rios and Belmar making their first appearances as substitutes on the season. And a very dangerous player has just entered the game for Nashville. Mensah clearly has given everything he has left to give. That was a slow walk off the field for Mensah.
And here's the way that Rios changes the game. You can deliver him a ball from anywhere. His first touch, whether the ball's in the air, on the ground, driven to his head, to his chest, is fantastic.
23 years of age from Guadalajara. The pressure by LaGrasse. And that will be a foul against. The step by Rios initiated the contact. And we've seen, again, Mensah with a slow walk. We saw Pickens and Doyle a bit of a slow restart. But again, I think with Rios and Belmar in the match now, I'm not sure Nashville's settling for a point here. They might pick and choose their spots.
Well, I'll tell you, Dane Kelly has not had an easy touch all night.
One sub remaining for Nashville, 2 for Indy. Indy 11 go on the road Wednesday night in Open Cup play to take on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They'll see those same Hounds right here at Lucas Oil Stadium for their only home league match against Pittsburgh this year. Kickoff time 7 o'clock, and you can watch it on My Indy TV. Farias down behind the play for Indy. Nashville is not obligated to stop play, and right now they're not. So Indy plays a man down currently. And now they will play the ball off the side. And frankly, officiating has been consistent. They have let a lot of physical play go in both directions tonight. We'll take a look right here. Just on the wrong side of that collision with Libo Moloto.
Yeah, I think both players were backing into that ball, and Farias just took the worst of it.
So much like we had almost at this exact same juncture at half number 1. Kind of a break at about 33 minutes into the half with an injury. Allows players to hydrate a bit, but it also allows coaches to talk them up a little bit. And if you're Martin Rennie, what do you want to see change in these last 10+ minutes?
I love the combination with the creativity and the pace with Ioze and Pasher. And I think if you can find more touches for those two, they'll break things down on the left side of the field. That's going to have Tribbett make shifts out wide to provide more cover for Pasher's defender. That's going to open up channels for Kelly and Ina Voltson. In fact, you saw the goal that Pasher scored last week. Dane Kelly is standing in the 6 unguarded, and so that's the kind of attention that Pasher's pace brings. So it'll free up Kelly, who's had to fight for every single touch tonight.
Fires appears good to continue. Nashville is at home on Wednesday night in that Open Cup match, as they're going to play the Charleston Battery. Like a lot of Open Cup matches, going to go to secondary or even, in Nashville's case, tertiary venues. They're going to play just down the road, down I-24 at Middle Tennessee State, down in Murfreesboro. Indy will be playing at Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh because they control their own venue. They'll play at Highmark Stadium as they always do. They're on the river in downtown Pittsburgh. That is one of the more unique backdrops that we see as a visiting team. Farias back onto the field. Hackshaw a little worse for after that bump, but again we play on. Belmar the target. Ioze closest to it. And creatively clears the 18. Pasher, perfectly weighted ball. Ina Voltson to his right.
Great recovery.
Well defended by Nashville. Kelly in front of Pasher. And a bit of a giveaway by Tyler. Gibson, though, the sliding tackle. But Jose couldn't settle it. How much of a factor are the fresher legs of Indy at this stage of the match?
At this point, I don't think it's going to factor in because you've got your game changers for Nashville, Belmar and Rios, who've got fresh legs. So you're allowed the luxury of having to being able to sit back.
Pasher did not get the touch he wanted to on it. And takes that on the Alliance Chiropractic son.
Yeah, but now you look at Kimura stretching a bit, a little cramping up.
Knowing the angle in in which he took that shot in the 83rd minute last week against Charleston. You also see again he's not getting that level of space in towards goal the way he did a week ago. We're met in the hip pocket of Rios. Good win. 3v3.
Oh, what a
for
ball.
Kelly just could not keep it on his boot.
Indy Voltson, what a ball.
Dan looking for his first goal in nearly a month.
My goodness. On this, you're looking at, okay, it easily winds up as a ball that at the inside of his right foot, he can play to Pasher right in stride. Instead, the defenders are shifting over to Pasher. He flicks it with the outside of his foot into the space for Kelly. Clever.
Fans, the next chance you have to see USL Championship Soccer on ESPN News is a week from this Wednesday, June 5th at 9 o'clock. Wednesday night soccer. OKC Energy travels to Albuquerque to face the Western Conference leaders, New Mexico United. What a first year it has been for the team that has the Meow Wolf logo. I don't know what it is, but it sounds cool. On the front of their jerseys, New Mexico United and OKC Energy. Wednesday, June 5th, 9 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN News, Wednesday night soccer. That team has been fun to watch. They get up and down the field. This New Mexico United. Kevon Frater with 10 goals. Santi Moar, who we saw last year in Bethlehem, very good player, has 7. Their goalkeeper and Cody Mizell leads the league in saves. So again, they're scoring, they're giving up chances, but they're finding a way to get wins out in Albuquerque. The Indy 11 would only play New Mexico United in the USL Cup Championship match. Matt Watson will become the second sub of the night for the Indy 11 here in the 85th minute. Lucas Farias will exit. Farias solid for a second consecutive Saturday.
Yeah, and I think it's a good decision. You look at Farias was very impactful in the first 2/3 of this game. In the last bit here, he's had a couple opportunities to change field with the ball, been a little bit mishit, and then had the chance to take the space off the dribble and look to play the early ball in. I think the thing that Matt Watson now brings is fresh legs to be able to attack. He's great at getting around the edge back and slotting that ball across the middle.
Walker, Ina Voltson, Kelly to his right, Pasher to his left. And a foul called, advantage was being played once the ball was lost. Free kick coming. And while Ina Voltson maybe has not been the goal-scoring threat he was a year ago at Orange County, he's really the fulcrum of this offense. It's so revolved around him.
Yeah, it's the creativity and the vision he has, but also the unselfishness. You take a look at how he's adjusted his play tonight. He's dropped back into this pocket in the midfield instead of playing up top as a target, because he can get the ball there, and then he can look to find the space for either Farias, Kelly, Pasher, who's ever in and up front.
By the way, Josh Penn headed to the 4th official. He'll be the 3rd and final sub of the night for the Indy 11. The 18-year-old still can play college soccer. He's playing on an academy contract. We'll see him in a matter of moments. Back post. Hackshaw.
I think that kind of surprised him that it got through.
Kept it in play, and it will be a throw-in coming for the Indy 11.
There was another one. I would have loved to see that, just that quick touch to Pasher, who was unguarded about 25 out.
Our final 5 minutes plus stoppage time brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers. Official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And that final sub, we'll see Dane Kelly exit for the Indy 11. So Penn, who got the start in the season opener against St. Louis, then played as a sub the following week in Charlotte. We've only seen him one time since, and that was in large part because he was going on some potential pro tryouts overseas, including in Denmark. He's already graduated high school. But the plan is still, as of now, for him to go play for Todd Yeagley in Bloomington next season. Pasher. Ina Voltson. Ina Voltson. Bolton just 2 league goals. He does have a third goal. He had the goal in the Open Cup victory against Lansing a couple of weeks back. Brickyard Battalion in a very friendly way, reminding Matt Pickens how much time he has taken before hitting the reset button.
They're very good about that, very polite with that. Look at that touch.
Tackle away by LaGrassa. Still one substitution available for Gary Smith in Nashville. The flick by Penn. Put it behind Pasher. And Rios will give chase. Bit of a nervous moment for Newton to track that down. And Rios had no further assistance along with him to go chase that ball. Wherever you go, fans, you can take the boys in blue with you. Download the all-new Indy 11 app in the Apple Store, or you can get it on Google Play. Onside is Pasher. Pasher, Indy Bolton making a supporting run. Pasher for Penn. Little back heel that nobody was there sitting on the back post.
Great ball by Petty Barrett to get that in there to Pasher. A great find.
Throw in coming. See Martin Runny saying, hey, let's watch the time here. About to see the added time coming up in a matter of moments. But it appears if there's a goal, it's going to be in the 90th minute plus.
That touch, running, away from the ball, bringing it down.
Oh. Flag stayed down. We're told 5 minutes of extra time. I thought the Moloto was offside in that play, but the flag never went up. And thankfully, Newton wasn't waiting on the flag.
Minutes will be added to the end of the second half.
And now a yellow card is shown. And that wasn't necessarily for a build-up by Washington. That was because he's just the latest guy that tried to shave a few seconds off the clock.
Yellow card caution has been issued by the referee to Nashville SC's 23, Taylor Washington.
This result holds. Indy 11 will go to 18 points on the season. Also be a 43rd shutout of his USL championship career for Evan Newton. He is tied for 3rd in the league in clean sheets this year with 5. Could be on his way to his 6th. Pickens has 3 in his matches so far. McCarthy, the goalkeeper, Tampa Bay has 7 entering this weekend. Keeper for St. Louis with 6, only players with more than Newton has so far this year. Barrett sends it in. Penn was the target. Throw in coming. Enevoldsen. Corner.
There you go.
And Iose says, take your time, leave it there. Nope, short one. Iose and Enevold's not on the same page. And much as Doyle or Tribbett were attached at the hip to Dane Kelly tonight, player down behind the play for Nashville. That's the reason for the stoppage. But to finish the thought, since Rios entered the game, Hackshaw has been in his hip pocket. LaGrassa, the player that is down, wearing the captain's armband for Nashville. Let's update you on scores from elsewhere around the league. Last week, when the Indy 11 got 3 points, they were helped by several draws around them. There was a draw with the team in which the Indy 11 are both level in terms of points and matches played. Hartford got a goal in the second half, and they draw with Ottawa tonight. 1-1 the score there. Other matches in the Eastern Conference, all still in progress. Nil-nil between Tampa Bay and Swope Park. That is in the 68th minute. 0-0 between the Charleston Battery and Atlanta United 2 in the 69th minute. And big match happened last night as far as the top of the table is concerned. As now LaGrassa will exit. And Bolo Akinyode will enter.
Leaving the match 20
But again, to finish that thought from last night, it was North Carolina winning at Red Bulls 2-1. So that would, got 5 minutes of added time. You'd think tack on at least one more. A chance for a couple of charges forward for Indy. Iose trying to slide behind Kimura, but Pickens had it read the entire way. This stands. This is the third 0-0 draw in the month of May here for Indy.
It's tough to get goals in this. It's tough to get 3 points in this building.
And Newton able to watch that one from some 80 yards away.
Yeah, it gets some touches here on the left side.
Coming for Iose. Indy 11 fans have seen just 2 goals in this building this year. And one of those was an own goal by Hartford. And the Indy 11 have not given up a goal at home this season. You have to go back to October. The last goal they allowed. Watson couldn't get a touch to it. Tries to settle it. Couldn't clear the back heel.
Oh, that bounce just never got to a place where he could do something with the ball.
I don't think that was the final whistle. But a foul called against the Indy 11 inside of the 18. Watson never got a look. That's for his first Indy 11 goal since last June. And Rios called for the foul. And you have to think this is the dying seconds at this point. Couple of touches at best. And Evan Newton says, charge forward. Wabet trying to get onto it. Tribbett with a touch. And that will be a corner. Now you bring everybody forward.
There you go. got to be it.
I was going to say, do you even think about bringing Newton up here?
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's kind of hanging back, to be honest with you.
We're 7 minutes in. You figure they've killed that extra time, so you figure they're going to get one look. It's either going to be a clear or it's going to be a shot, and then the whistle's going to blow.
Iose clears everybody. Ina Voltson will track it down. That's it. Had to be on the corner. And in over 97 minutes played, there was not a goal for either side this evening. A hard-fought point for each of these two teams. A solid road week for Nashville, as they do not give up a goal in 2 road matches. The scoreless streak in terms of goals allowed for the Indy 11 now extends past 500 minutes. We'll wrap this one up when we come back. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And by Community Health, exceptional care simply delivered. Community Health Network. 0-0. The story for the Indy 11 this evening. No goals. That does not stop us from having a West Fork whiskey. Shot of the game, West Fork whiskey, Indiana's premier whiskey distillery. The build-up was there. Maybe this might have been the best look of the night. Lucas Farias, Kim Do-Yeon, Iose just couldn't latch onto that late in the first half.
That's a goal if it's not for Matt Pickens.
Farias sizing up his eye. And Iose, the player that took the tumble at the end of that one. And neither goalkeeper was called on to do that much tonight, but Pickens up to the challenge right there.
Absolutely. That was the, there's moments in each game that define a game. That was it right there. That's a 1-0 game at that point.
Stay tuned. The Central Indiana Honda Dealers post-game show is coming your way in a matter of moments. We will hear from head coach Martin running for your Indy 11 and a member of the players as well. 4 home games in the month of May for the Indy 11. 1 win, 3 draws. All draws of the 0-0 variety so far. Thanks for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer.